Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Monique and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I grew up in San Diego my entire life. I went to Sherman Elementary and then I went to Roosevelt Middle School and then I went to Central Elementary too, and then I went to Monroe Clark Middle School, and then I went to Gompers Middle School, and then I went to Lincoln High School. So I've been to a lot of schools in San Diego. So I know San Diego like the back of my hand. I know Claremont, I know Kearny Mesa, I know Rancho San Diego, El Cajon, La Mesa, Chula Vista. I know downtown, I know Sherman Heights, I know Logan Heights, I know Hillcrest, South Park, North Park, Mission Hills. I pretty much know it all just because I've gone to a lot of schools, and growing up, we used to ride the bus a lot, so I knew San Diego like the back of my hand because of course when you ride the bus, you're on the bus a lot and on the trolley, so you're constantly getting to know new places and walking a lot, so I know it very well. I love San Diego. I actually moved to LA for about a year of my life and I didn't love it. I lived there only for 1 year and I moved back because it wasn't ideal for me. I actually wanted to go to film school when I moved there, but then I decided that that wasn't for me. God had different plans for me, so now I'm doing real estate. I went to Lincoln High School and actually didn't do that well in high school, so it's crazy to me that I'm in this place now because high school was tough for me at one point. It was just one of those things that I had so much going on at the time that it was hard for me to really care about school and focus on the things that I was supposed to be focusing on. So high school was not, it was fun, it was popular, I won best dressed, I cared about those kinds of things, which I wouldn't advise you to care about so much in high school because it doesn't really help you when you graduate. The things that help you are truly getting good grades and really learning. I think that my favorite class in high school was actually video production and learning how to do Photoshop. I actually know how to do those things now, and that was one of the best classes that helped me the most growing up and being an adult in my adult life and marketing and things that I love to do. It's crazy how that one class really helped me throughout the past 5 years of my life, and just putting all of those things that I learned into perspective and asking God why these things stood out the most to me rather than all the other things that I learned. I truly am thankful for the position that I'm in right now because I'm a real estate agent and I'm a wife, and it's just crazy how your life changes so drastically when you start doing the right things. I had it tough growing up and I just kind of was rebellious and I liked to party a lot and just cared about the wrong things. And growing up, when I moved out at the age of 18 and I moved to Los Angeles, I realized how tough it was to be out on your own and how much you needed the support of family, and just financially it was tough, emotionally, mentally, it was just hard to live on your own and try to make ends meet on your own and try to figure it out on your own. It was tough. So I think that when I put myself in that situation thinking that I was gonna figure it out is when I finally grew, and I grew so much. I'm just so thankful because I grew more than I've ever grown in my life. I went to church for the first time, I got saved, I stayed there, I got a great job, and it wasn't so much of a struggle after I got that great job. At first it was a big struggle. I had my place broken into, they stole all my stuff, they stole my brand new laptop that I had took to LA so that I could go to film school because that's what I originally wanted to do. So now here I am in LA with no laptop. You can't really go to film school without a laptop, and at that time I couldn't really afford a laptop. So I told myself I would work hard and save enough money to buy a new laptop. And when I went to go sign up for film school, it pretty much was super expensive and I wasn't gonna be able to get in. So I just told God, you know what, God, whatever plans you have for me, show me and let me know, because if this is your plan, you're gonna make it work. Pretty much asked God, help me with the situation that I'm in. And it was tough. It was a tough time in my life where I had to grow. I remember that we moved into this apartment in LA thinking that it was going to be the best thing that happened to me and my friend Fatima, and we moved in. It was, I believe it was like $800 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. It was remodeled in the inside, so it was beautiful. It had like really nice walls, and it was just really nice in the inside. And we thought, wow, we're getting such a great deal. Like, wow, you know, this is amazing. And I remember that we didn't know where we lived in LA. We thought it was like a really cool, neat area because there was a lot of people, there's a lot of activity going on. So we thought, wow, we had this great deal, and it's like in the coolest area. That's what we thought. And little did we know it was actually in a really dangerous area of LA. So we had the craziest things happening. The neighbors upstairs from me would fight all the time, like day in and day out. And then there would be like gangsters outside of my apartments. There would be just like people yelling and screaming, people on drugs, gangbangers, like tons of action going on. And even when I would walk into my apartment, there would be people in the hallways. There was a guy that lived, I believe I think it was like in the same hallway that I lived in, the first door, and there was a sign on his door that said that he was a pedophile. And I was just like, when I would do my laundry, like it was right there, like right in front of his apartment. So I was just like, man, this is tough. Like, I'm trying to work. I was working at Wells Fargo at the time as a teller, and I would be gone most of the day. I would be off on the weekends, which was great, but it was hard. We didn't have parking where we lived. The parking was on like, it was in a different complex. So we had to drive, we had to park there and then walk around the block and then go into our apartment, which was tough because, like I said, it wasn't the best area. So it was very dangerous. It was scary. And me and my roommate were like terrified all the time. Our apartments had mice all over. We barely had any furniture. Keep in mind, we didn't have a lot of money. We moved there for school. We didn't have anything. We didn't have no furniture. We barely had like a spoon. We had like one spoon each. We had no dishes. Like we would clean every day. So we ended up having mice all over and roaches, I believe. I'm not sure, but I believe we had roaches. And we also had bed bugs. So our apartment got completely infested with bed bugs. My roommate was actually out of town during this time. I remember that my little sister spent the night at my house, and she was like, Monique, there's something in your house. Like, I'm getting bit all over. I'm like, you're kidding me right now. Like, what is it? And my mom's like, you need to check because I think you have bed bugs. And I was like, no. And I guess, I forgot who came over, but someone, I think it was my mom, she came over, or my sister. And the neighbor told her that our building was infested with bed bugs. So I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I truly did my best and I tried my best. I lived in LA for a year, got a great job. Like, I can't do this anymore. I was still there though, and I remember on July 4th, it was July 4th, it was late at night, and I stayed home because I was like, I have to work tomorrow, whatever, I'm gonna stay home. And I remember there was fireworks and gunshots, especially in my neighborhood. I mean, there was everything going on. And I remember I put out a white blanket on the floor because, keep in mind, we had bed bugs. So I didn't know, I've never had bed bugs. I don't know what that meant. I didn't get bit, so I didn't know if we had them or not. You can't see them, so it's hard to tell. So I remember that we had, I had a white sheet in the middle of the living room floor, and I laid down on it because I was like, I'm not gonna sleep on my bed if I had bed bugs. You know, I'm gonna sleep in the living room floor. Sorry, I thought someone was coming. So I laid down on it, and I get up like to go get something, and there's a bed bug on my sheet, and it has blood. Like, it's like red. I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. Like, so I got in my car and I just stayed in my car. I didn't tell my mom. My mom had no idea at the time that this was going on, so she couldn't help me because she had no clue, you know. I know that if I would have told her, she would have told me to move back to San Diego immediately. So I went to my car and I called my roommate. I'm like, we have to do something about this. She was out of town at the time, so she wasn't available. So it was really tough. I told her we have to do something, like we have to leave, we have to move, something. So she ended up coming back to LA. We ended up sleeping in our cars for about 2 weeks. We were sleeping in our cars, we were taking a shower at 24 Hour Fitness, and we were just like trying to deal with it and figure out what we were gonna do. We told our landlord we weren't gonna pay our rent because we had mice, we had roaches, and we had bed bugs. So we were like, we're not gonna pay our rent until you guys fix this. They wouldn't fix it. Apparently it was like a low income property, so the landlord didn't care about what was going on. Neither did like the company, I don't know. It's just like, we didn't even know where we lived. We were just living there because we thought we had a great deal, and in reality it turned out to be a nightmare. I mean, nothing wrong with low income. Low income's fine, but we thought we were getting a good deal, and in reality it was we were pretty much getting pushed into something that they knew that wasn't right. Like having mice all over our apartment, and we would come home, there would be mice in our kitchen, and there would be mouse traps in our kitchen, and then there would be mice there, like trapped there, and we would tell our landlord, can you, obviously, there's 2 girls in the apartment, we're obviously grossed out, we're not going to grab the mice. But he would just make it such a problem, and he was just not nice about it. So we ended up moving out. We told them we weren't going to pay our rent. My parents came and helped me take out all my stuff, and I threw everything away because obviously I'm not going to take it home. But yeah, I mean, we slept in our cars for a long time, for 2 weeks almost. And I remember one night me and Tima were driving, and I almost fell asleep at the wheel. And we were just so exhausted from dealing with so much those 2 weeks. And taking a shower at the gym, and like sometimes like just, oh man, we looked tired. She had school, like I had work. It was a struggle. Luckily I had a struggle with her. She was amazing, and she was right by my side through everything, but I couldn't imagine going through it alone. And then I remember I went to work, and I told my boss, which is super nice, her name's April. If you're watching this, I love you so much. You were such an amazing person in my life at the time. And I told her, I'm like, I need to quit, I need to move back to San Diego. And she's like, why? I'm like, because my apartment's infested with bed bugs, it's infested with mice, like I need to get out of here. It's not a healthy living situation, and I'm sleeping in my car. I've been sleeping in my car for the past 2 weeks, and it's just been hell pretty much. And I had God in my life at the time, luckily, so I was like always praying and asking God why I was going through this. I didn't understand it. I started going to church, and everything was going good, and all of a sudden this happened, and I just felt like God was telling me to move back. So she was so sweet. She was like, just stay here, you can live with me, you can sleep on the couch, whatever, you can stay. Like, no, I need to go. And then I told my boss, which was Kenny, I told him everything that was going on, and he felt so bad. He was like, you know what, my parents have a studio, you can stay there, like don't worry about it. I'm like, I can't, guys, like I've been going through so much this past year, like it's just time for me to move. I gave myself a year, and it's been a year already, so I'm gonna go. And I remember that they were so nice to me. I didn't work there for a year. I had only worked there for like 7 to 8 months. Because I had worked at a different job before, and they were so sweet. They actually transferred me down to San Diego so I could have a job when I moved back. So it was amazing. Like they were like, you know what, usually you're supposed to be here for a year, if not we can't transfer you, but in your situation we're gonna do whatever it takes to transfer you down to San Diego, so when you get there you have a job. And it's like, you guys are so amazing, like truly amazing people. I seriously like wish I could work with them forever. They were both amazing, so smart, and people that you learn so much from. Unfortunately, things change and I had to move, but that was my story, and that's how I found God, because I was going through so much, and the only thing I could run to is God. That's it. I had nothing else to run to. Once I moved back here, and I had already known Anthony, like kind of, but I met him, I got to know him more, and then I married him. We got married like after, I believe, like 8 months of living here. I got married, and we've been married for about 4.5 years, going on to 5. And it hasn't been perfect, but I can definitely say that it's been worth it, and God has a plan for our lives. And one day I'm gonna be like, wow, God, like I'm already living it, I'm already in that place where I can say thank you, God, for everything that you've put me through. Everything you put me through had a purpose,